Hi, my name is Jacob. I'm the co-founder of Divindi, the app that you will see here on the screen in a second. Divindi is a stablecoin rail neobank. The idea is simple. People should be able to use their money freely across borders, across chains, and even across payment systems without having to think about the complexity underneath. Today, I want to walk you through what we've built. We start here on the account creation and login screen. For authentication, we use passkeys. These are device-native keys that let users sign transactions securely with something as simple as biometrics or a device unlock. That is already very convenient, but passkeys also come with their own challenges. They can be tied too closely to a single device or a single major provider account. And we did not want access to your money to depend on one device never being lost. So we built a recovery system around those passkeys. That means we combine passkeys with identity verification and on-chain account recovery, so even if you lose your device, you can still regain access to your funds. The passkeys become the simple gateway to the on-chain world, but without leaving users stranded if something goes wrong. And what happens on-chain is where Divindi becomes really powerful. Divindi runs on near intents. That gives us access to a unified liquidity layer across major chains. So for example, a user can deposit USDC from Ethereum, USDC or USDT from Base, or stablecoins from other supported chains, and have all of that show up inside one Divindi account. From the user's perspective, they do not have to think about chains, bridges, addresses, or fragmented balances. They simply see one usable balance. Under the hood, they may hold different stablecoins or assets, but inside Divindi, we unified it into a more classical banking style experience. This is what we mean by chain abstraction. Whatever source of funds you want to use and whatever destination you want to send to, Divindi handles the routing in the background. And this actually does not stop with crypto rails. We also connect to bank rails. So users can fund their account with ACH deposits in the US or SEPA deposits in Europe. And they can also use their stablecoin balance to pay things that still live in the traditional banking system. For example, if you want to pay your electricity bill, your rent, or another regular payment, Divindi can route that through the virtual bank account layer. So your stablecoins can become usable for real world payments, even when the merchant or biller does not directly accept crypto. A lot of our focus has gone into making this as user friendly as possible. There is no crypto jargon, no technical language, no expectation that the user understands bridges, wallets, chains, or liquidity routing. We want this to feel much closer to Cash App than to a traditional crypto wallet. For example, instead of dealing with cryptic addresses, you can simply add a friend, share your Divindi tag, or show a payment QR code. The other person can pay you using the asset they have, and you can receive the asset you want. So let's say you prefer to hold USDC, but your friend only has Bitcoin. That should not be a problem. They scan your code, choose how they want to pay, and Divindi, together with Near Intents, make sure that you receive USDC, your target asset. You can also share payment links, post them publicly, or send them directly to someone. The goal is to make receiving money as simple as sharing a link. Of course, sending works the same way. You choose the amount, choose the recipient, and send. You can pay in the currency or token you want, even if the final recipient wants to receive something else. Divindi handles the conversions and routing in the background. The user just confirms with their passkey, usually through biometrics, and the transaction is completed almost instantly. This is also the foundation for merchant payments. As a first step, merchants can accept payments through QR codes. The merchant asks for a specific amount, for example $12.50, and the customer chooses how they want to pay. This basically solves one of the biggest problems with crypto payments. Historically, crypto payments did not really take off because there was always a mismatch. The customer had one asset, the merchant wanted another one. The customer was on one chain, the merchant was on another. So the experience was very complicated and fragmented. Divindi abstracts that away. The merchant receives what they want, the customer pays with what they have. The transaction becomes understandable for both sides. We also offer a standalone swap experience inside the app. So if users want to change the assets they hold, buy crypto, or eventually access things like tokenized real world assets, they can do that directly from Divindi. It is a familiar exchange view. Choose what you want to swap from, choose what you want to receive, confirm, and the swap is executed through near intents. Another important piece is our automation layer. This allows users to define tightly scoped permissions so Divindi can schedule or execute certain payments on their behalf in a secure way. That is important because it gives stablecoin accounts real parity with bank accounts. A normal bank account is not only useful because you can send money manually, it is useful because you can schedule rent, pay utilities, set up recurring payments, and automate your financial life. We bring that same capability to stablecoin accounts. Users can schedule crypto native payments, but they can also route payments through their virtual bank account. That means that they can pay merchants or institutions that do not yet accept crypto directly. So whether it is your rents, utilities, subscriptions, or loan payments, the experience can work much more like a real bank account. So what I have shown so far is our consumer experience. But Divindi is not only meant to be a consumer product. We also want to make these capabilities available to other businesses that want to run their own payments layer. For that, we are building a white label platform. What I am showing now is our control plane. This is the command center for white label applications built on top of Divindi. A customer could be a bank, a fintech, a wallet provider, or another business that wants to offer its own branded version of this experience. Inside the control plane, they can configure their application. For example, here we have two tenants on the platform. One is Divindi, our own payment app. The other is a demo bank that runs on the same rails. From here, a customer can customize the app name, brand colors, design primitives, and other parts of the user experience. But the more important part is the policy layer behind the app. Divindi includes middleware between the front-end application and the on-chain capabilities. That means each customer can define the rules they want to enforce for their own users. They can configure transaction limits, spending limits, supported assets, supported chains, transaction frequency, and other policies with very fine granularity. They can also enable or disable entire features through feature flags. This is especially important for compliance. The control plane keeps logs of what happens, who made which changes, and how policies are applied. Customers can trace decisions, monitor activity, manage whitelists and blacklists, and adapt the system to their regulatory and business needs. And because different customers have different requirements, we are building this to be very flexible. If a customer needs a specific compliance control, policy surface, or operational capability, we can expose that through that control plane. So this is Divindi, a stablecoin rail neobank for users and a white label payment platform for businesses. Our motto is bank without borders and live without limits. Thank you for watching. We are excited to keep building this together with our users, customers, and partners. Thank you.